Now, as you can see up here, I have a lot of PC parts, but I did buy a lot of those brand new and upgraded over time. But PC parts can be very expensive, so what should you do instead? Well, perhaps you should buy off of eBay. Now, eBay, people get scared when you say the word eBay. They go, oh, it's going to be broken. But eBay actually has a really good money-back guarantee. So today, I had a little splurge on eBay to see if I could put together some PC parts into a computer and flip it. So let's get into the video. Now, the first PC parts that I actually bought was a broken motherboard and some RAM. Now, the listing said that it was broken and the guy didn't have any time to fix it, so you might think it's a little sketchy. Now, it's not actually a B450MA Pro Max. Instead, it's a B450M Pro VDH Max, which means that he probably bought a new one as a replacement, which you might think is a bit scary. Now, if we take a look at the motherboard, you can see it's in very good condition. There's only a little bit of damage up here on the traces, but I don't think that's actually too bad of damage. The listing did say it was broken, but for 56 bucks, including this 16GB kit of RAM, which he doesn't know works or not, it's not a bad deal, and I could always just sell it back on eBay for parts or not working and probably get my money back for the most part. And the next part that I bought was this RTX 2060. Now, I bought this off of eBay for about 160 bucks, and it was marked as used, so I do have that eBay money back guarantee if it doesn't work. It's in really good condition, there's no dust really at all, fans still spin, and yeah, it's just a simple Galax card, 8-pin power connector. The next part was just a Corsair CX650 power supply off of Facebook Marketplace. I picked it up in person. Yeah, pretty simple, nothing too special there. Now, before I put a modern Ryzen CPU that I'm planning on using in, I'm actually going to put this Ryzen 5 1600 in. Because I always find with AM4 motherboards is a lot of the time people will say they're not working, but they really don't realize that they just need a BIOS update. So I'm just going to put this in the CPU socket and we'll just boot off of that, see if it works. Because again, the seller didn't actually know if the motherboard worked, but I imagine it's probably just a BIOS update, to be honest. Then for RAM, we're just using two 8GB sticks that came with the motherboard that was allegedly broken, but I reckon the RAM sticks are probably fine, to be honest. Now for the CPU that I'm actually going to be using, it's a Ryzen 3 3300X, which is a pretty good CPU actually. It actually outperforms the Ryzen 5 3600 because all of its cores are on one CCD, whereas the Ryzen 5 3600 has two 3-core CCDs, so it actually performs a little better most of the time in games, which is a little fun fact for you if you didn't know that. Alright, so I've got everything plugged in. I'll flick on the power supply and let's see if it turns on. Oh, that's a good sign. We've got power. GPU spins. Wait for it. Come on. Give it a second. Might just be training the memory. Oh, yes! All right. I'm really happy with that. So it actually works. We've got our B450 motherboard, registering all fine, Ryzen 5 1600. We've also got our memory there. It says 8GB, but I'm 99% sure both sticks work. I'll check later. Power supply works, graphics card works. That is an awesome result. So that is a really awesome result. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to update the BIOS, and then I'm going to switch out the CPU for a Ryzen 3 3300X, and then we'll build it and put it in a system. So let's go do that now. I'm like really stoked that the motherboard works and the RAM works. 56 Australian dollars, that's like 30 US dollars. That's crazy. Now seeing as we have all our parts here, let's just build the computer right now. Now for our case, we've gone with the Thermaltake View 170. Now I've done a review on this case before. It's a pretty stock standard fish tank design, but it works really well, pretty much. Now another question you might have is, how did you get that NZXT cooler? Well, I actually got it for free off of a friend because I helped him install an AIO because he wanted to upgrade. And the AIO looked really clean, here's a photo of it. But he just didn't need the CPU cooler anymore and he's not into PC building, so yeah, he just gave it to me and then I can use it. And just like that, I've got my motherboard installed. The only issue with this case, right, is the cutout for the motherboard power supply for the 24 pin, it doesn't exist. Unless you have like a shorter motherboard, which they intend on you having. If you have a square micro ATX motherboard, it just does not fit. So I will have to route my cable down here to there. So it's gonna look a little ugly, but I reckon I can probably manage with cable extensions. That's one big downside to this case. Other than that though, it's pretty good overall. Okay, so that took a super long time, but I eventually got all the cables in. I've got our motherboard cable running up here, which is a little awkward, but it doesn't look too bad overall. Especially if you have the lights on, it'll look fine. And then I'm just gonna put the GPU in now. All right, GPU installed. Everything looks really good. I really hate this cable though. I don't think it's that big of a deal because, to be honest, most people who don't know anything about PCs, they won't really notice. The cable's fine like that, to be honest. So yeah, let's fire up some games. Alrighty, now in Fortnite, in performance mode, we were averaging right bang on 200 FPS, which is really quite good. Now yes, the 1% and 0.1% lows of 30 and 12 really aren't good, but this was my first game into Fortnite, so I'm sure the shaders were still caching, and really, Fortnite is just a stuttery mess most of the time. This is a really good experience, especially considering it's only a 4-core CPU. Next, in Marvel Rivals, we're getting 102 FPS, which is really awesome because this game is really demanding running on the Unreal Engine 5 engine. So yeah, it's a really good result. We are running at the low settings with DLSS quality enabled, but DLSS quality on 1080p is more than enough, and it looks just fine. Really good result here, especially considering how demanding this title is. Then in Siege, we're averaging 203 FPS on medium-low settings. These are like kind of competitive settings. There's not too much going on, and yeah, it's a great experience. The 1% low is above 160 FPS, which is really good, much better than Fortnite. But it doesn't help my skills anyway. And that's gonna do it for this PC. It looks stunning overall. I mean, the RGB, the case, everything just comes together so neatly. To be honest, if I didn't have a build like this, or a better build, I would probably use it, because it's just amazing. A 2060, a Ryzen 3 3300X, 16 gigs of RAM, 500 gig SSD, this beautiful case, 650 watt power supply, all for 500 Australian dollars. That's about 300 US dollars. That is insane value, in my opinion. Now I've actually got the guy outside waiting to get this PC, so I'm gonna have to wrap this video up here. As always, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. And I'm Techbiz, and I'm out. All right, I gotta hurry up real quick.